Right now at 6 o'clock this morning, a community in mourning up in Lewiston, Maine, as people are remembering all the lives lost in a deadly mass shooting last week. We'll tell you what else we've learned about the man who police say carried out those attacks.
And a woman in Willimantic found dead inside of a home over the weekend. What police are telling us about her death this morning.
Also, a big announcement for the Manchester Road Race. Find out what star runner is going to be coming back for this year's edition.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Monday morning. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Thanks for joining us and choosing the Fox 61 Morning News. America Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. We hope you had a good weekend. That was sort of that last little taste of summer we were expecting. Oh, yeah. And now Matt Scott just
back to reality.
Yeah, yes. A wet reality.
What a split of the weekends. How glorious was Saturday.
Yeah.
And how not was glorious yesterday. Hope you made the most of the record heat many of you saw in temperatures into the 80s on Saturday. We're not seeing that again anytime soon. Rainy start to the week. What happened to the heat? Man, it felt good on Saturday. Got Halloween just about a day and a half away from the trick-or-treating. Good to have a lot of kids in coats out there. Live look at the Doppler. We've got some showers, steady showers pretty much across 84 south into Fairfield County. We'll start just outside of New Haven from Milford down through Bridgeport Route 8. We're seeing some moderate rainfall around Stratford. Take you up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury and points east up 69 to Wolcott, seeing some steady rain there. Rain's going to be continuing at least through the first half of the day. Won't really taper off till later on. Temperatures not moving as a result. They're in the upper 40, mid to upper 40s to the lower 50s at the shore, 48 in Hartford, 52 in New Haven, on the way up to a whopping 54 later on. Rain now, rain later. What about the rest of the week? What about Halloween? We've got it all for you coming up in just a few minutes. 6:02, first time on this Monday. I get to say hello to Symphony Privet. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Hope you're having a good one so far. The morning commute's not looking too bad, but we are watching a crash out in Orange this morning. So let's get you up to speed with what we're checking out. This is happening on Route 34. Right now, that area is closed between Mapledale Road to Racebrook Road due to a tractor trailer crash involving one vehicle out there. It's causing a little bit of a delay, so your best bet would be to find an alternate route this morning. Taking a quick look at downtown Hartford this morning. This is I-84 as folks get up and at it on this Monday morning. You can see the roads are glossy, so make sure you are taking it easy out there and have your lights and your wipers on. Checking out the Hartford drive times. No delays to report this morning. Down in New Haven, a minor slowdown on 95 South heading to Bridgeport. You'll get there in just under 30 minutes. We'll have another update for you at 6:30.
Symphony, thank you. Well, this morning, many people up in the community of Lewiston, Maine are returning to work and returning to school after a man shot and killed 18 of them and injured more than a dozen more last week.
And many of those people attended vigils over the weekend, beginning to process the grief. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is in the Breaking News Center with much more this morning. Brooke.
Well, people from Lewiston, Lisbon, and those surrounding towns came together to share that grief and mourn those who died from their community. Church services were somber and candlelight vigils were held both Saturday and Sunday. Those brought out hundreds, if not thousands, of people to try to process what happened. Police say on Wednesday, 40-year-old Robert Card walked into a bowling alley and a restaurant and killed these 18 people and, of course, injured more than a dozen others, 3 of which are still in critical condition. They're in the hospital right now. While I was there, I did get the chance to speak with some of their friends and family. They tell me that every one of these people was special, kind, and loved in this community. Police are now saying they investigated Card back in September after he made threats to other soldiers on the Saco military base where he worked. They were not able to locate him to follow up on those threats, so they closed that investigation. In the summer, authorities say he voluntarily checked himself into a mental health facility for 2 weeks. Because this was voluntary and not forced or mandated, that information was not found on a background check when he later purchased a gun. Police say he had 3 guns on him when he walked into those 2 shooting locations. All 3 were purchased legally. They tell us some of the guns used were purchased recently and others he's had for years. One of them was found in his abandoned car and 2 were with his body whenever he was found dead in a trailer from a self-inflicted gunshot. Those who were at the vigil last night night say that they have experienced a lot of anger, sadness, and fear over the last few days. But last night was about being with those that you love and just trying to process what happened.
You know, we rise from the ashes and try to, you know, as Lisbonites, if you will, and Lewistonians, we're a tough brand, a tough group of people, and we'll take the moxie we have and love each other and kind of come out of it.
And there are many fundraisers going on already to help the surviving victims and all of those families that are directly impacted. There are also a lot of vigils and memorial services planned for that in the upcoming weeks, and everyone is welcome to attend those if you're up in that area. In the Breaking News Center, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Yeah, the recovery work there just getting started, Brooke. Thank you.
Thanks, Brooke. Well, this morning, a homicide investigation continues in Willimantic. The police chief there says it's one of the worst that he has seen in 27 years of law enforcement.
Yeah, police said a woman was found dead in a basement Saturday. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joins us live in Willimantic with what we know and what we're still trying to figure out so far.
Tim, Erica, good morning. Still lots of questions about this case this morning. Really at the top of that list, why is the police chief calling this one of the worst cases he has ever seen? Also don't know the victim's identity at this point. That is one of the bits of information we are still waiting to get an update on. Now, police telling us this all unfolded Saturday. That is when Willimantic police say they were contacted. That was around 2 p.m. by the family of that woman who had been missing and unaccounted for since the mid-morning hours. Police went over to Chapman Street to investigate, and they found that the woman's vehicle was no longer in that area. An officer then located that vehicle at a nearby business. A K-9 unit tracked that vehicle back to the home where that woman was believed to be. When they got back there, police say a person was leaving that area. They arrested that person before they could get away, and officers ultimately found that woman dead in the basement. All of this, as you can imagine, a complete shock to this neighborhood.
My reaction about that is scared. I'm really scared right now because I have kids.
It's scary because you see the normal people, you know what happened in your head or inside or your house.
And as of that last update, police say the person they arrested faces charges that are not related to that woman's death. We do not know what those charges are. And they have also not identified that person. The state police have taken over this investigation. We are reaching out to state police to get an update this morning. Of course, as we get any new information about this case, we'll bring it to you live here on air and on the Fox 61 News app and website. We are live in Willimantic this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Angelo, thanks so much for that update. Oh, meantime, state police are investigating after a car hit and killed a volunteer firefighter, and this happened during a trunk or treat event in Salem. It happened just before 7 last night in front of the Gardner Lake Volunteer Fire Company. That's on Route 354. State police say a car hit 69-year-old Willis Sands as he was walking to his house across the street. Passenger and driver were not hurt.
A manslaughter suspect is due in court today. It's an 18-year-old accused of stabbing a family member to death in Essex. State police said Matthew Craig called them right after stabbing the victim. This was early Saturday morning at a home on Main Street. Police said witnesses told them the victim was physically fighting with a female when Craig stepped in and stabbed him. The victim died at the scene.
A teenager accused in the stabbing death of a 17-year-old at a house party in Shelton last year is due in court today. Raul Valle is facing a murder charge in the death of James McGrath. He was a 17-year-old Fairfield prep student. And Valle also faces 3 first-degree assault charges, and he is yet to enter a plea. Police say the stabbing happened in May of 2022 outside of a party where there was underage drinking. Later this morning, an announcement is expected to discuss resources for people who want to safely dispose of prescription drugs. The governor's prevention partnership is set to launch its Prevention Starts With You drug deactivation initiative. The $1.2 million effort is meant to educate and help people dispose of unwanted prescriptions. Also, around 50,000 Deterra drug deactivation pouches are going to be given out to help people dispose of prescription drugs safely at home.
New this morning, Back-to-back Manchester Road Race champion Wayne Kaladi is returning this year to try to make it 3 in a row. So the 26-year-old will easily be the early favorite again on Thanksgiving morning. Kaladi shattered the women's record 2 years ago with a time of 22 minutes and 55 seconds, and then backed it up last year with a winning time of 23:35. Now, that's a full 40 seconds slower and still winds up being the second fastest time run by a woman, which just shows you how blazingly fast she was in 2021. Fox 61 is a media partner of the Manchester Road Race. We will bring you live coverage Thanksgiving morning right here on Fox 61.